Okay, picture this. You walk into a room. Maybe it's one of those networking things or, you're just waiting for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment hits. You catch someone's eye, maybe a hesitant smile, and then just silence.
Yeah. That awkward pause.
Or you get the classic, so what do you do? And boom, your mind just goes completely blank.
Uh-huh.
All that English grammar you studied just evaporates. It feels like this wall just slams down, right? Blocking any real connection. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really vulnerable feeling, isn't it? That split second where you're scrambling thinking, what do I say? It can feel like a huge barrier, especially, like you said, if English isn't your first language.
You really hit on something there, that feeling of isolation, the barrier.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we're diving deep into this today. It's all about breaking down that feeling using, well, what many people find pretty intimidating, small talk.
Right.
And we're not just talking about filling silence here. This is about building actual bridges, making connections, leaving a memorable impression. But for lots of folks, especially English learners, it feels less like talking and more like navigating a minefield.
Yeah, the linguistic minefield. That's a good way to put it. So our mission here really is to give you the tools, the confidence to just walk up to someone, start a real conversation, and actually feel okay doing it. Comfortable even.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is basically your guide to getting past those stiff textbook phrases. We want you to sound natural, engaging, real.
Okay, let's unpack that then. We're going to cover the essential phrases. Yeah, strategies for conversation.
Yep. Starting lines, common topics.
Active listening, that's a big one. And crucially, how to get out of the conversation gracefully.
The graceful exit, very important.
Our goal is for you, listening right now, to understand those sort of unspoken rules, the subtle cues, the cultural bits that make small talk, well, kind of an art form.
Exactly. Let's imagine someone, let's call her Maria. She's at a networking event, wants to connect. We'll follow her journey, give her and you everything needed.
Perfect. So why spend all this time on something that seems, well, small, trivial almost?
Because it's anything but trivial.
Yeah.
It's foundational. Small talk is genuinely your social superpower. It's the gateway.
The gateway to deeper connections. I like that.
And what's really fascinating is it's not just about the words. It's about signaling your intent.
Signaling intent. How do you mean? That sounds interesting.
Well, think about it. Even something super simple like lovely weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not really about the weather forecast.
Right. Nobody actually cares that much about the weather details usually.
Exactly. What it's really saying is, hey, I'm friendly, I'm approachable, I'm not, a threat. And that little micro signal, it's surprisingly powerful, especially now when we can feel quite isolated. Psychologists call it the mere exposure effect. Basically, these repeated, low-stakes, positive interactions build familiarity, trust. It's the bedrock of bonding, even if we don't consciously think about it.
That makes total sense. It's like the warm-up act before the main event, lets people get comfortable before you dive into anything, heavy.
Precisely.
Without it, jumping into big topics feels jarring, abrupt. So it builds rapport, helps find common ground, establishes trust. You see it everywhere. Networking, making friends, even just customer service. It's the ultimate icebreaker.
It really is. And in many English-speaking cultures, being able to do small talk, that shows social intelligence. It's seen as good manners, being friendly, approachable. It signals you can handle social situations smoothly. That's a valued skill.
And thinking about Maria, our English learner, it's such a great low-pressure way to practice. The stakes are super low.
So low.
If you stumble over a word, who cares? It's not a job interview, usually. It's an ideal learning space. Plus, it lets your personality peek through your humor, your interests, makes you more memorable, more likable.
And connecting that to the bigger picture. Small talk is just woven into daily life, isn't it?
Totally. Waiting in line, bumping into a neighbor.
Exactly. Opportunities are everywhere. And if you get comfortable with it, you feel less like an outsider, more integrated, especially in English-speaking places.
So ultimately, it's crucial for those first impressions.
Yes.
It opens doors for future chats, relationships, personal, professional, all of it.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so Maria's ready. She spots someone at the event, maybe someone she actually wants to connect with professionally. What's her first move? That opening line.
Right, the opener. And remember, the goal here isn't to launch into a massive discussion.
No, definitely not.
It's simply to open the door, to invite a response. Just get the ball rolling.
So what are some good, reliable ones?
Well, the absolute classic, the most common, is the weather. You really can't go wrong.
Old, reliable.
Things like, lovely weather we're having, isn't it? Or maybe Bit chilly today, isn't it? It's universal. Nobody's going to argue with you about it. It's safe.
And it's a shared experience right there in the moment.
Exactly. Then you've got contextual openers, perfect for Maria at her conference.
Like what?
She could say, "Are you enjoying the conference so far?" Or, "This is a great venue, isn't it?" You're connecting immediately through that shared situation.
That makes sense. Or maybe noticing something specific.
Yes. Observation-based comments.
Hmm.
But keyword, genuine. Don't fake it.
Right.
If you genuinely like someone's scarf, say, "Oh, I love your scarf." Or if they're reading something interesting, "That looks like a fascinating book." Authenticity matters.
Okay, what about just like being in a queue?
Situational openers work great there. "Wow, this queue's moving slowly, isn't it?" Or maybe if it's a coffee shop, "Are you a regular here? Anything you'd recommend?" Natural stuff.
And in more professional settings, like Maria's event.
A direct introduction is often best. "Hi, I'm Maria. I don't think we've actually met yet." Or, "What brings you to the event today?" It's clear, polite, low pressure.
Okay, so some key reminders for Maria and for everyone listening. Pronounce names clearly if you exchange them.
Oh, definitely. Maybe even repeat it to check.
Use nice phrases like, "It's a pleasure to meet you." And crucially, avoid anything too personal or controversial right at the start.
Absolutely critical. No politics, no religion, no health complaints, no money talk. Keep it light.
And don't forget body language. A warm smile, open posture, looking at them. That invites conversation before you even speak.
It sends that "I'm friendly" signal we talked about.
Okay, so Maria did it. She used a great opener, got a smile back, maybe a short reply. Now what? You can't just stand there.
Right. The dreaded awkward silence looms. This is where having a sort of mental map of safe ground topics is so useful.
Exactly. Once that door is cracked open, you need common, safe topics to keep the chatter flowing. It's about finding that shared experience again.
And yes, number one on the safe list, still the weather.
Still the weather.
You can always comment on it. "Looks like it might rain later," or "I really hope the sunshine lasts." It's just so easy for anyone to respond to. Requires zero deep thought.
Okay, beyond weather, what else is safe? Current events.
Possibly, but tread carefully. Stick to non-controversial stuff. Local events, maybe sports if it feels relevant, positive news. Definitely avoid politics or anything heavy or divisive.
Gotcha. So, like, did you happen to see the local team's game last night? Something like that.
Perfect. Something many people might know a little about, but probably don't have super strong feelings on. You're looking for passing familiarity.
What about work, especially at Maria's networking event?
Very common, very standard. "So what kind of work do you do?"
Right.
Or, "How long have you been in this industry?" Keep it fairly general at first. Don't grill them.
Right. And hobbies, interests.
General ones are great. "Do you have any exciting plans for the weekend?" Or, "Read any good books lately?" These open doors gently. They're not too intrusive.
Travel's usually a good one too, right? People often like talking about trips.
Definitely. Have you traveled anywhere interesting recently? Or even, are you planning any trips soon? Or just focus on the immediate surroundings?
The venue, the event itself.
Yeah. This is a lovely place, isn't it? Or, what have you thought of the speakers so far? Even the food or drinks can work. These appetizers are delicious, aren't they?
So just to reiterate the avoid list, definitely steer clear of really personal stuff.
Absolutely. Relationships, health problems, how much money someone makes, big no-nos for initial small talk. Also, avoid complaining or negativity.
Keep it positive.
And don't launch into topics that need really specialized knowledge, unless you somehow know you share that interest. The goal is just finding something easy, get a short response, see if they seem open to chatting more. You're just testing the waters.
Okay, so you found a topic, the water seems warm. How do you stop the conversation from just dying out after a couple of exchanges?
This is where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
Open-ended questions. This is the powerhouse strategy.
Because they can't just answer yes or no, right?
Exactly. A closed question like, "Do you like your job?" invites a one-word answer. Dead end. But an open-ended one invites them to elaborate, to share more.
So give me an example. How do you transform that, "Do you like your job?"
Instead, try, "What do you enjoy most about your job?" Or, "What's the most interesting challenge in your role?" See, ask for detail, for opinion, for story.
Okay, I see. Or for travel, instead of, "Have you traveled recently?"
Ask, "What was the most interesting place you visited recently and why?" Or, "Tell me about your favorite travel experience." That why or tell me about is key.
Even for the weather. Can you make the weather open-ended?
You absolutely can. Instead of just cold, isn't it? Maybe ask, "What's your favorite kind of weather and why?" Or, How do you usually like to spend a rainy Sunday? It prompts more thought.
So we should be using words like how, what, why, and phrases like tell me about. Quite a lot.
Yes, they're your best friends for keeping conversation flowing. How did you get started in? What do you find most rewarding about? Tell me about.
And what's cool is the answers to these questions often give you natural follow-ups, right?
Exactly. If Maria asks about a hobby and the person mentions, say, pottery.
She can then ask, oh, cool, how did you get into pottery? Or what's the hardest part about it?
Precisely. It becomes organic. But, and this is crucial, you have to actually listen to the answer.
Ah, yes. Not just line up your next question while they're still talking.
Right. Avoid that rapid-fire interrogation feeling. Genuinely listen. Let their response guide where you go next. Which leads us neatly into
Active listening. The unsung hero, you called it.
definitely the unsung hero. We focus so much on what we should say, but truly listening. That's where real connection happens. It's about paying attention to the words yes, but also the nonverbal stuff. It shows you're genuinely interested. Shows respect.
So how do we show we're actively listening? You mentioned verbal cues.
Yeah, just those little affirmative sounds. Right, okay, I see. Short sounds that signal you're tracking with them.
Then non-verbally.
Eye contact, appropriate, not staring, occasional nodding, and having open body language. Facing them, arms uncrossed. It all says, I'm engaged. I remember when I was learning French, just having someone listen patiently made such a difference to my confidence.
That's huge. What else?
You can briefly paraphrase or summarize what they said. Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you found that project challenging because it shows you were processing, not just passively hearing.
That validates their point.
Exactly. And then follow up with related, open-ended questions based on what they just said. Also, validating feelings is powerful. Wow, that must have been frustrating. Or, oh, that sounds really exciting. Builds empathy.
Okay, what are the big mistakes to avoid here, the pitfalls?
Number one, interrupting. Let them finish their thought. And number two, which we touched on, don't spend their speaking time just planning your brilliant response.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all do it, but try to resist. Just focus on them. The impact is massive. Making someone feel heard and valued, that's far more memorable than having the cleverest comment. That's real connection.
Okay, so we've started the chat, kept it going, listened actively, but eventually the conversation needs to end. How do we do that without being awkward or rude? The graceful exit.
Just as important as the opening. You want to leave things on a positive note. Think of it like a smooth landing after a nice flight.
Right, you don't want to just suddenly eject. So what are some techniques?
A great one is to use a bridge to your reason for leaving. Make it sound natural.
Like,
Well, it's been really lovely chatting, but I should probably go grab another coffee before the next session starts. Or, it was great talking to you, but I need to quickly find my colleague. It gives a gentle, plausible reason.
okay, providing a reason. What else?
Express appreciation. Always good. It was really nice meeting you, Name. Or, I really enjoyed our conversation about topic. Shows you valued the interaction.
And if it's appropriate, maybe suggest keeping in touch.
Yes, especially professionally. It was a pleasure meeting you. Maybe I could send you that article we discussed. Or more casually, hope to see you around later.
Physical cues help too, right? Like making eye contact, maybe a handshake if you're in person.
Definitely. Signals closure. And use clear closing lines. Well, I'd better let you go now, or it's been a real pleasure, but I really must get going. Polite, but clear.
And here's a big don't. Don't ask a brand new open-ended question right when you're trying to leave.
Oh, please don't. It just pulls them back in and makes the exit super awkward, defeats the whole purpose.
Also, pay attention to their cues, yeah? If they're looking around, checking their watch.
That might be your signal. They might be looking for an out, too. Respond respectfully. You could even do a circular exit loop back to the beginning.
How so?
Like, well, enjoy the rest of the conference, and I hope the weather holds out for you. Brings it back to maybe how you started. Nice closure.
Good tip. And practicing these exit lines helps them feel less forced.
Absolutely. Have a couple in your back pocket. It stops you feeling trapped when you're ready to move on. It's just another tool in your toolkit.
Okay, let's talk specifically about the hurdles English learners like Maria might face. It's important to acknowledge these are normal, right?
Totally normal and completely surmountable. The path to fluency is never a perfectly straight line.
I think the biggest one for many is just the fear of making mistakes.
Huge one. But honestly, in small talk, it's so low stakes. Most native speakers are just impressed you're making the effort. They appreciate it way more than perfect grammar.
Totally agree. And if you don't know a word,
Just describe it. Or use a simpler word. And if you didn't understand someone, maybe because of their accent. Just ask politely.
Right. Sorry, could you say that again? Or I didn't quite catch that.
Much better than nodding and pretending.
Yeah.
People usually appreciate the honesty. English is global, accents are everywhere.
What about running out of things to say? That panic moment.
That's where your mental bank comes in those safe topics, those open-ended questions, and learn to pivot smoothly. Speaking of travel, that reminds me, did you see that article about connect it loosely?
Good one. And tone. Sounding natural.
Yeah. Try to relax. Use natural intonation. Use contractions like it's don't. Avoid sounding too formal, like you're reading from a script. Remember, English small talk is generally light, positive. Avoid strong opinions early on. It's not debate club.
What if you're self-conscious about your accent?
Honestly, everyone has an accent.
Yeah.
Everyone. Confidence in what you're saying and just communicating clearly is way more important than having some mythical perfect accent.
And the difference between preparing and sounding robotic.
Prepare ideas, bullet points, key phrases maybe, but don't memorize entire scripts. You need flexibility. Robots aren't great conversationalists.
And finally, awkward silence. Is it always bad?
Not always. Brief pauses are totally natural. People need a second to think. Use it yourself to gather your thoughts, or maybe it is a signal for that graceful exit. Don't fear the pause. I've definitely had moments where I thought silence was awful, but looking back, probably wasn't a big deal at all. It's just part of the rhythm.
So practice makes perfect, or at least practice makes better.
Exactly. Like any skill playing guitar, cooking small talk improves with consistent, deliberate practice.
Where should people start?
Observation is huge. Actively listen to native speakers. How do they sound? What topics do they use? Watch TV shows, especially sitcoms. Great source for casual dialogue.
And then actually doing it.
Yep, active practice. Role play. With a language partner, a teacher. Practice specific scenarios, like Maria at her event. Get feedback. It's a safe space.
What about online?
Online language exchange platforms are brilliant for low-pressure chats. Or join real-world meetups or clubs based on your hobbies. You'll interact naturally around a shared interest.
And just everyday life.
The most direct way. Initiate small talk with the barista, the shop assistant, your neighbor. Start really small. Even just, how's your day going? It builds that conversational muscle.
And maybe reflect on how it went.
Good idea. You can even record yourself sometimes, just to hear how you sound. Expand your general knowledge, too. Read news, pop culture stuff in English. Gives you more to talk about.
Patience is key, though, right?
Absolutely. Be patient. Be persistent. Focus on maybe one thing at a time, like asking more open-ended questions this week. And celebrate the small wins. Every chat is progress.
Okay, moving beyond just the words. Reading the room, body language. This feels like the next level of mastery.
It really is. The true mastery isn't just about what you say. It's about interpreting those subtle nonverbal cues. It tells you how things are landing, whether to continue, pivot, or wrap it up. This is where social intelligence, that empathy, really comes into play.
So what should we be looking for? Eye contact.
Definitely. Sustained eye contact usually means interest. If their eyes are drifting away constantly, maybe they're losing focus or looking for an exit.
What about how they're standing?
Look at their posture, their orientation. Are they facing you? Arms open. That signals openness. If they're angled away, arms crossed. Maybe they're feeling defensive, uncomfortable, or just ready to leave.
Tone of voice, too, presumably.
Huge cue. Is it warm, inviting, or kind of flat, monotone, rushed? Fidgeting is another big one.
Like checking their watch, tapping their foot.
Looking at their phone. Classic signs they want out. Also, listen to the depth of their responses. Are they giving you one-word answers? Yeah. Okay. Or are they elaborating, engaging? That tells you a lot about their investment.
And the context of the room itself matters.
Big time. Is it a loud, bustling party where short chats are expected? Or a quieter gathering where longer talks are fine? Adjust your style. Be mindful of personal space, usually arm's length is comfortable. And notice group dynamics.
Like if a group is in a closed circle versus an open one.
Exactly. A closed circle often means a private chat. An open one might invite you to join.
This raises a really important point, though. What if someone just isn't receptive? You try an opener, and they give you nothing back.
Don't take it personally. Seriously. 9 times out of 10, it's not about you or your English. It's about them.
Their mood, maybe they're busy, stressed.
Exactly. Maybe they're just not feeling talkative. It's almost never a reflection on you. Just offer a polite smile and move on.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground. So let's recap for everyone listening, our future masters of conversation.
We have. We started by seeing small talk not as trivial, but as your social superpower.
Right, that icebreaker or rapport builder, the way you signal friendly intent. Then we broke down how to actually start those opening lines using them authentically.
We armed you with that mental bank of safe, common topics. And crucially, we dove into the power of open-ended questions to keep things flowing.
Then came active listening, that unsung hero. Remembering it's about making the other person feel heard and valued, not just about what you say.
And then, the essential skill of the graceful exit, leaving politely and positively.
We tackled those specific challenges English learners face, normalizing the fears, offering real solutions, and talked about realistic ways to practice and improve.
Observation, active practice, reflection.
And finally, we look beyond the words, at reading the room, understanding body language, tuning into those nonverbal cues for truly effective, socially intelligent communication.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. And the key takeaway, small talk is a skill. It gets better with practice. The aim isn't perfection.
No, the aim is connection.
Every short chat, every shared smile, every polite exchange that's a win. So, what's the big thought we want to leave our listener with?
I think it's this. Consider that small talk isn't just about smoothing over an awkward moment. It's about planting tiny seeds.
Seeds.
Yeah, seeds that can genuinely blossom into significant relationships, maybe unexpected opportunities, or sometimes just making someone's day and your own day a little brighter. It's that micro moment.
That can lead to macro impact, fostering belonging, connection.
Exactly, in ways you might not even anticipate.
So the final word, go for it. Go forth and chat with confidence. Next time you're in that situation, take a breath, smile, start that chat. You got the tools now.
You really do. The phrases, the strategies.
Yeah.
You're ready to open doors to new friendships, new opportunities, and just feel more connected.
Thanks for listening, and if you found the video helpful, please hit the like button, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss an episode, and share it with others who might benefit. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. So your feedback is really important to us. And if you want to continue learning right now, here in this playlist, you'll find helpful videos for English listening practice. You might want to watch it next. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.